Today is our fourth Art Speak Week. So our moderator for today's event is Mr. Sun.
Hello. Hello, guys. So yeah, I'm Mr. Sun, if you guys don't know me, and I teach the 3D industrial modeling class and the character sculpting class, and I am your moderator today. So today we have the great honor and pleasure of having Tran, who is also my friend. He is a Vietnamese-American animator and a very talented storyteller. He's also the animator for the VA's Conservatory's first animation, featuring in our upcoming CSArts holiday virtual showcase, which you can see on our website. So today, Joey's gonna take us through many of the projects he's worked on, elements and design processes like he's learned, and how he's applied them in his portfolio, work, reel. And he'll also be doing a demo for us. So please type your question in the chat, and I will ask Joey along the way. So let's welcome Joey Tran. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. So many of you guys, I'm a bit nervous, but anyway, so I'm Joey, as you guys already know. And I'm an animator, and I mostly just do freelance animation. I'm studying at Art Center, and I have studied abroad at the Blondes. Some of you guys have already done walk cycles, but one thing is in animation, walk cycles are one of the most it's one of the first things that you do as an animation student, and it's one of the last things that you master. And you do it forever and a lot of times throughout your career. And it's all about understanding how a walk cycle works. And so what I'm gonna demo is just taking a model sheet. So you can see you guys probably know what model sheets are. Can you see my model?
Maybe just explain what a model sheet is to people.
Yeah.
Who know what it is. Yeah.
So a model sheet is basically just it's just like a sheet that has the character on it, and through and it depicts all of the angles. It's basically a guide to how to animate or not how to animate, but how to draw the character. And they usually have multiple angles, different facial expressions. So you can see this one here is Stevani from Steven Universe, multiple angles. They have a bunch of model sheets, but they tend to not stick to their volumes, which is fine. Artistically, you could do it that way. But here's a model sheet for The Breadwinner. This is a super gorgeous animated film. I believe it's on Netflix, so you can look for it there. It's like a feature film, and it's pretty grim. It's a bit serious. So if you want something lighthearted and fun, probably don't want to watch The Breadwinner. Here are just these are some more informal versions of model sheets of Chihiro from Spirited Away. Yeah, and so you can see she has some facial expressions, and then she has some posing. This is quite informal because she's not just standing and T-posing or something. And last one, I'm sure you guys have seen this everywhere, but Klaus.
Nice.
Yeah, so model sheets are the basis to doing traditional animation. And so what I'll be doing is I'll just be taking a model sheet. I've already kind of started it because I know that I don't have a lot of time. So let's see. I'm going to be I took Bolin and I drew him out. So there's a guide. His head's a bit big in the one I drew, but here's just a side view that I'm using, and I'm just going to be doing a side view walk cycle. But first I just want to introduce you. I know I keep saying this, but everybody is at different places if they want to pursue animation, they're in different places. And so I'm just going to explain it. If you know already, just disregard. But in animation, we have, in walk cycles, we have things called key poses. And so they're kind of like the extremes of your animation. So this right here, this is from Richard Williams' animation survival guide. I think it's survival kit actually, but this is taken from his book, and he shows these 5 poses. This kind of just loops these 5 poses, so to make a perfect walk cycle. And so we kind of have his first key pose here, which is a contact. We call this contact because the feet are both making contact here. And then we have a passing, which is kind of like this leg is passing through the other one, kind of. I guess this is like the best way I could describe it. And then we have a contact again. And so these 3 are the key poses. And so what you have, these 2 right here, these 2 right here, these are breakdowns. They're kind of like an in-between of like the contacts and passings, but they still provide a lot of information. And so you have an up pose here and a down pose here. And I guess that's it.
And so
also,
having a model sheet is really important while you're doing this like animation, like walk cycle.
Yeah, it's super important just because you want to keep the volumes, so things just don't look like they're like shrinking or expanding weirdly.
And then the student asked, when once creating a model sheet, do you have like reference photos or videos to get like an idea of like how you want your character to move around, or do you have them memorized?
So this is like creating your own model sheet, right? Yeah, so creating your own model sheet, what I would suggest doing first is drawing a character in I forgot what it's called. I believe it's like their hero pose. Drawing a character in their hero pose. Hero doesn't necessarily mean like they have to be like superheroes or whatever, like pose like a hero. It's more of like a pose that kind of shows their like character, their personality. And so like you can kind of see that in some of the model sheets. Hold on. If you just Google like Disney model sheet or like Big Hero 6 model sheet, you'll see some of the characters are posed how their personalities are, the way their character is. And you kind of make that pose first, just so you can get a gist of who the character is, and then you go on to turning it into a model sheet. The model sheet is a bit more technical, so it kind of takes away the character's personality, but it's just there to so you can reference it for volumes and just like accuracy.
Got it. So you would focus on like creating like the character design first, and then after that you would do the walks.
Yeah, I would create a character design first, go through the whole thing of creating a character design, which I'm sure you guys have learned, which is like some people like to take references, some people don't. But just creating a character design first and then starting to break it down for a model sheet. Hopefully that answers.
Yeah, that answered it.
Okay, cool. Okay, I forgot where I left. Anyways, so I know a lot of you guys, a lot of people, when they first start out animating, they animate in like Photoshop, which is like torture. It's the worst thing you could ever do. But I understand if that's the only thing you can use. I hear Krita is a really good alternative for animation. This program I'm using here is called TV Paint. I bought this for an excessive amount of money, kind of crazy. And it's used in a lot of professional European production studios as well as American production studios. But the most common one you'll hear in America is called Toon Boom Harmony. Toon Boom is like, it's like the company that most American and Canadian animators use, and they have like a storyboarding program and an animation one called Harmony, and you can kind of see it here. This is Harmony. I'm working on something, but anyways, Harmony is the one that American companies use. But I'll just be using TV Paint for this demo now. And if you have like another, if you want to know another like option for animation, just ask me. I'll like try to think of one because the only free option I can think of is Krita right now. But anyways, let's keep moving
Is
on.
there
So,
sorry, is there so I saw that you were switching between TV Paint and Toon Boom.
mhm.
Is there a reason why? Like, does like a program, like a different program offer a different advantage?
Yeah. So TV Paint is a bitmap animation tool. So basically, it's like Photoshop.
Oh,
Um,
mm,
and all the layers are rasterized. But Harmony, they use vectors. So let's see if I can bring up.
is kind of like Vector, kind of similar to like Illustrator.
Yeah, so like
Yeah.
you can do a lot of things where like you can. Oh, I'm not on that layer. You can do a lot of things like when. I'm sorry.
No worries.
So when you draw in things, they have points to it, and you can just manipulate it.
Mm,
This is a lot. This is a lot easier to handle with. But for personally for me, it feels a bit like not as organic when it comes to animation. Still a really good way to animate.
mm,
But a lot of like shows like I don't know if you guys have seen what is it, Tangled, the Tangled show on Disney TV. Uh, they don't like do hand drawn animation. They have rigs, so they like draw out their characters and then they like basically rig it so that they have like bones and stuff in their body and they can like animate it like a like a 3D rig. I don't know how else to explain it,
I
but were
um
you going to say something?
Clip,
Sorry.
no, so is Clip Studio Paint, is that also
Oh
would
yeah,
be a program for animation too?
yeah. Clip Studio Paint is a really good animation program. I don't use it. I never got used to Clip Paint Studio or Clip Studio Paint, whichever one.
Clip Studio Paint.
Okay, Clip Studio. Yeah. Yeah, I don't use that one, but I do know some people that animate on it. Like that's their only way of animating, and it's quite efficient. So if you can use it, use it. I think the only thing I don't like about Clip Studio Paint is that I think the animation is in layers. Like you can see in TV Paint here, like I have I have like I have one layer, but there's multiple drawings in it in a timeline. But I think what Clip Studio Paint does is that they just have multiple layers and it gets a bit unorganized. But it's still usable. I think the only thing that you really, really need in an animation program is the onion skinning tool, which is kind of like, it kind of, it's kind of like an onion skin where you can like kind of see it. It's a bit transparent. So you can see when I'm flipping through, you can kind of see like the past drawings I have. It's kind of like I have multiple sheets of paper and there's like a light table underneath. I think that's super important when it comes to animation. Or finding a perfect animation tool. But anyways, I'm gonna start animating. So I kind of drew in, this was my just like rough sketch of what he should look like, his volumes, his forms. And then I just took it a step further and made a move. So what I have right here is I have his key poses, which are the contacts and passings. So when you go back to here, you can see that this is his contact and this is his passing. And even by playing the contact and passing over and over, you can see that it feels like he's moving already.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's like you're pretty much almost there. You just need to add in-betweens. So next, I'm just going to look at what I have here. So the next pose is a down pose. I'm just going to do this. to down pose. So I'm going to make a drawing here, and I'm going to copy his head. This is a cheat. I mean, like some instructors will be like, "Oh, don't do it," like, but it's fine. Just don't worry about it too much. But he's kind of, let's see, I'm going to have him do a passing or a down pose, sorry. And so when you walk, you kind of go up and down. Is just kind of how a human walks. This is kind of exaggerated, but usually a normal like human walk is it's not so up and down. Usually like a cartoon character like like Bugs Bunny or like Daffy Duck, like they'll go up and down like when they walk, and it's fun to look at. But for like a regular human, they kind of just don't move as much, going up and down. So let's see. So here's my hips. This is going up. So I want to have his hips go down. Okay. Yeah, so I'll just like, I don't know, I won't talk as much now.
Yeah, just proceed, yeah. Did you take a lot of figure drawing and anatomy classes so you could quickly, draw accurately and manipulate human bodies?
Yeah, so I'm not the best at drawing human bodies. I do, I mean, I don't want to like discredit myself. I'm good at doing it, okay? It's just, let's see, sorry. It's super important to learn how to draw bodies. I would start with just like learning how to do it like I don't know, like a regular figure artist, and like dissect the human body a lot into detail. And then once you've mastered like figuring out how a body should work, you kind of do like faster figure drawings. So I think sometimes in my figure drawing classes, we start to do like, I think like we start with 5-minute poses, and then we move on to 3 minutes, and then 1 minute, and then 30 seconds. And it's not about like capturing it's not about capturing sorry, it's not about capturing the figure correctly, but it's capturing like the gesture it makes.
Like the essence of it.
Yeah, the essence. Like basically like you want to capture like its motion in it.
And that's like really important in animation because like the line of action is like super important. Like
Yeah.
motion. Got it.
The line of action is incredibly important. Some people don't think about it, but it is really important to learning to be an animator. Just because when you're an animator, you're basically creating movement, and so the best way to create movement is by creating gestures within your animation. This right here, the thing I'm doing, which is a walk triangle, it's pretty much like not as like it's not filled with gesture. It's pretty technical, just because it's it's kind of like I'm mapping everything out. Like you can see how when you're doing a walk cycle in place, the character kind of has to stay in place and be moving at an equal pace, just so it loops correctly. And so you can see one thing I'm doing here is that I'm making sure that the tip of his foot is completely equal on every single frame. So it's like the same space. Just so that he moves correctly. So it doesn't look like he's like sliding weirdly on the floor. Yes, that's one thing about that.
Is there a certain thing you prefer to animate, like humans, animals?
I like to
styles, or I don't know, like like different age groups, or
I like to animate I don't know. I just like to animate. Like it's just
Yeah.
it's fun to me. Um, just animating. I think one thing I really do like actually is animating particles or like effects and stuff.
Mm.
Water or fire or whatever. Those are like way harder to do, and it's incredibly challenging. But I really like doing that kind of animation.
What do you not like to animate?
I don't like to animate dogs.
Dogs.
They're they're okay. I like dogs are super cute and everything, but I can't like I don't like doing dogs. I don't really like animating quadrupeds, except for horses. I think horses are like just a lot of fun to animate. I don't know what it is. It might just be like the fact that they're long and elegant. I don't know.
Let's see.
So when you're animating, it's good to look at like what your the onion skin, um, but it's also important to flip through your animation. Um, the way that the way we a lot of students learn how to animate is doing it on paper. Um, I'm sure like Gordon has seen at Art Center a bunch of like animation students like sitting in like they're just sitting in the common room and they're like flipping through a bunch of paper on a light table. Um, that is like one of the most painstaking things to ever do. But that's kind of where this idea of flipping comes from. Um, when like old animators like in the 50s 60s 70s even 90s when old animators do paper animation they have to like flip through um, let me see hold on I'm gonna try to enable my camera. I mean, I don't know what I look like, but basically they like flip through using one hand and they have like paper in each like crevice of your
Yeah.
finger and they kind of like flip through. It's like a flip book. Basically animation's like a flip book. And they do that a lot just to check if the animation is working, if they're like um, the animation is all right. And so that's like kind of the same idea here. I'm just like flipping through, making sure it's okay.
And are you using the device you're using right now? Are you using a tablet, iPad, computer?
Uh, I'm using
MacBook?
the Cintiq. It's like the tiny one. Um, it's like super old,
I
but I think if
forgot
people have iPads now, you can like connect it to your tablet or to your computer or whatever.
that. Mm.
I know that's
Is
like
there because like um because like a lot of people have access now to like iPads and stuff.
mhm.
Is there an advantage to learning animation through the digital way first instead of the
um,
traditional way, or do you think you get the same result?
I think it's definitely you're definitely learning the same things. There is a kind of a disconnect um, where when you have paper, you kind of value your drawings a bit more. Well, not value your drawings, but you kind of think of it like that's a good way of describing it. You think of it differently. But I don't know how to explain it, but um, I will just say that if you don't have access to doing hand animation like with paper, that is totally okay. That stuff is really expensive. Like trying to get paper because you have to like draw every single frame. Like I have in one of my cupboards, I have like I don't know, like 4,000 sheets of paper from my old like my first two classes. It's crazy. There's so much paper, and it's not worth it. It's definitely not worth it. It's kind of like an animation. It's like a purist animation
Mm.
idea. Like you don't need to learn how to animate on paper. Um, there's definitely an advantage with drawing digitally, just because you don't have to deal with paper first off. Um, and you can play back your scene like really easily. And with paper, you'd have to scan them all in every single time, just to check to see if your animation looks good. And that's super annoying. I had to do that like my first year at Art Center, which was incredibly painful, and I lost a lot of sleep. Definitely not fun. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. That was bad. Anyways, um, I don't really know what to say about this walk cycle. I'm just like doing it, but um, I don't know. Walk cycles to me, they're very technical, so it it's a lot of just like actually doing it and like not much about like. I guess you could learn it.
I think a lot. Even though it's not like as gestural,
Mm-hmm.
still seeing it really helps out a lot. Because for me,
Uh-huh.
this is kind of like the first time I've seen something like this, so I find it super cool. I'm sure like a lot of students say this for the first time, like, whoa, like seeing how to animate like this is very helpful.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. To me, like I see this like it's. I'm just like another walk cycle. Like I've seen so many at this point. I just think it's like the best way to learn how to. It's the best way to start. Like usually you start with like bouncing balls and stuff. That's like totally okay. But walk cycles, I guess, are like the pinnacle of animation. Some people might say. Sorry, I'm like, my program's lacking because I have like two of them open. So let's close that down and get back to it. One thing too, when you start animating, it's really good to take like reference of yourself or somebody else. A lot of the times students, they look at an animation, they're just like, whoa, how did they like totally come up with that like on the spot? Like that doesn't happen. Like people actually like record reference and stuff. Like I think you can see if you type in like the Muses, like the Hercules, the Muses, you can see like a reference video that they have of like actual women like singing and dancing to the.
It's like but then I also heard like animators, they also like record themselves.
Yeah.
Like sometimes like they have like a mirror room, and I know like your house one, and that new movie that came out, Over the Moon.
Yeah.
There was one animator who's like a scene where like I forgot the Changa. I don't know if I'm saying the name right, but like like kind of walking down the path. She has a very specific way she walks, and I know that.
Oh, you saw that? It's like
he tried like 5 or 10 times.
Yeah.
To try to like get that down.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone has seen that, but it's yeah.
I forgot the guy's name. I think he's like an Indian animator. I forgot his name though. But yeah, so every single CG animated film you watch, there are references. It's not just like some films; it's every single one. Like every single piece of CG animation is always referenced. Like when I do like a CG animation, I have to record myself acting it out, and it's like the most embarrassing thing ever. Because I'm supposed to start displaying emotion and stuff, and it's kind of like being an actor.
And then, and you, I know at Art Center you took some there were some acting classes, correct?
Yeah. Well, not really. We have like an acting animation class where we kind of just like record ourselves, break it down, and then we animate. I guess that's the closest thing to it, really. Let's see.
So would you say animation is it like a student has, is it like a form of illustration? Just being able to move your character?
Wait, can you repeat the question? Sorry.
Student asks, is it almost like illustration? You just have to move your character move, or you just have to have your character move?
I would say it's it's quite different. I would say like illustration is like the art of making like a really beautiful painting or like illustration, you know. But animation is kind of like um, you're designing emotion. Um, sorry, you can like you can take your animation or you can take your illustration skills and learn to you take your illustration skills and you can learn to animate, but it's quite different. You're going to eventually have to learn way much more.
Mm-hmm.
I I don't know, like being an animator, it's like a very, I don't want to say it's niche, but just learning like the subtleties of acting and stuff and like actually like animating, it's I feel like kind of it's like way different from illustration. Sorry, I like went in like a weird turn.
Thanks for your answer.
Okay, so I have him go down and then I want him to go up.
So pretty much to sum up, in order to like learn how to animate on top of illustration, like learning the foundations and of like illustration stuff, you still need to learn a lot of new skills in order to animate because it's like a whole different avenue.
Yeah, it's a whole different skill, which is like which I wish I could say illustrate like animating is like very similar to illustrating. But I have a lot of like classmates that come in wanting to animate and they hate it. And they just end up wanting to illustrate. They just want to make like pretty pictures, which is totally fine. Just animation is a lot of work. You're drawing over and over again, like the same character. So yeah, it's quite difficult. Sorry. Also, like I like want to finish this, but I know I like don't have that much time.
Whenever you feel
Probably.
ready to move
Hmm?
on. Whenever you feel ready to move on, it's up to you.
Oh, well, this is the only thing I'm doing. So,
Okay.
yeah, I guess like, I guess like, sorry, I guess that I was kind of hoping that I would finish this master, but it's totally fine. It's totally fine that I don't finish this master. Animation takes a lot of time. And when you see a lot of animated films on the screen, like it just feels natural to just like think about it as like, just like a clip of, as like a clip of live action, but it's actually so much more than that. It's like one person like putting a lot of thought into the way the character should move.
Are there any how should I say this? Like any inspiration? Like do you have any like inspirations while you animate? Any like role models that you always like look up to?
Yeah. Let's see. So I'm super obsessed with French animation. Hence the reason why I went to study abroad. And a lot of those French students, their philosophy, I feel like, is very different from American animation students, where they like to think of animation as like a blend of illustration and animation. So they have like a lot of different aesthetic looks and appearances that American animation doesn't. But if you guys like are kind of interested in like French animation, there's a school, the one that I studied abroad at for like a term. It's called Go Blondes. Gobelins, and they basically their grad project is creating an animated short film, and they're so beautiful. Like almost every single grad film has like a different aesthetic, a different aesthetic, but also like a different story. It's not just like it doesn't feel like Disney, where Disney kind of comes in and they're just like, oh, like I'm a character and I really need to find my way and like figure out what I want to be in the future, and then they find it out, and like that's a Disney story basically, and that's how you can break down most Disney stories. But in France and a lot of French animated films, they kind of break that and they do different things. I think there's one French film called I Lost My Body, which is on Netflix, and it's super gorgeous. It's kind of weird, and it's not that it's weird, but you have to like think about it as you're watching it, to understand the story of what is going on. But that's what I would say is one of my inspiration is just like French animation in general, and also like Japanese animation. I used to be a huge weeaboo, and maybe I still am. I don't watch anime as often anymore, but I think Japanese animation is super gorgeous, especially their animated films. Like it also came onto Netflix recently. It's one of my most favorite Japanese animated films, but it's called Children of the Sea. I would recommend not watching it with dubs. Just watch the Japanese version with subs.
Oh, the sub.
Yeah, because the dubs sound kind of weird.
Right.
But yeah, those are my major inspirations, I feel. Okay, so I started moving to up pose. So he goes down, up, and then down. And oh, also one thing, I never said this, but your contacts in passing, this is like his left, if you were to be him, his left foot is up front, and then, sorry, this is his passing, and then his right foot is up in the next contact. Basically what you can do is that you copy this. If you can see, my contacts are the exact same drawing. I just changed which one is in front and which one is in back.
Oh,
yeah, just to make it a bit easier. And also your passing as well. Your passing poses, they should be similar. They should be almost the same because you're trying to do like a completely even walk cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So your passing can be the same. It's just the arms are flipped.
Mm-hmm.
And so that makes it easier. So once you do your downs and ups, you can basically just copy it over. Just change the position of your change the positions of the arms and legs. Which one is facing us and which one's in the back? That's the easiest way to do it.
How many frames do you have to create per second generally?
So it depends. But for this walk cycle, which is going to take forever, I probably won't finish it. I definitely won't finish it. This is 24 frames per second. So there is a drawing for each frame. That's essentially how it goes. I have this other thing from Richard Williams' book. This kind of maps out like how a walk cycle should move. And it's from frame 1 to frame 25, and you can see how the head just kind of moves up and down. It's basically 24 drawings.
Mm-hmm.
But usually at animation studios, you kind of just do like 12 frames per second,
Mm-hmm.
or just like a drawing for every 2 frames.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something like that.
Like the old Disney films, or
Mhm.
the Disney traditional animated films. How
Uh-huh.
many frames per second were those?
Some of the old ones, or I believe most of them are on uh, 12 frames per second.
Often?
Um, I need to check if that's actually true. But most of the modern ones, well, when I say modern, I mean like the most recent like hand animated Disney ones, which is like Lilo and Stitch or like um, Little Mermaid, the ones that we've all watched as
Yeah.
kids. Those usually, I believe those usually are just on twos. There's like a thing where, oh, sorry, I didn't explain what twos meant. So in animation, there's like a way of saying like how many frames a drawing can be held on. Um, and so when I say it's on ones, that means there's one drawing for every single frame. If I say it's on twos, the drawing is held for 2 frames. And if I say it's on threes, then it's held on 3 frames. And so you can see like in my timeline, all these drawings I have, they're held for 3 frames. 1, 2, 3. Um, and so this is what you would call being on threes. And if I were to just hold it on twos, sorry, um, it would be just for 2 frames. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And so usually Disney animation, they do it on twos. Hopefully that answers the question. I know sometimes like animation gets kind of like confusing.
You answered it, yeah.
Okay.
I know Japanese animation, it's different than American animation. I forgot the number of frames per second they do.
Yeah, it's on threes.
It's
So most of the time it's on threes. There's that's because they like to keep it economical with the amount of drawings they do. But like whenever you see those like really intense parts, I believe those are called sakugas. Um, they can like increase in the amount of frames just because that's like one of the most important and like essential parts. Um, yeah, I think there's like a whole image board called Sakuga Boru. It's like Sakuga, like Sakuga, and then Boru is Booru. Um, and usually those image boards have like drawings or have like animated clips that people take out just to analyze them, the animation. But yeah, Japanese animation, super gorgeous. Let's see. Wait, when am I supposed to? when is?
you have up until 2:45.
Okay. Just seeing where I'm at.
You could, when you feel like you're done with this, when you feel like you're ready to show the full walk cycle, ask any more last questions.
Okay, I see. For sure. Just gonna cut this down a bit.
Do you, for when the animators are animating Bolin, are they doing like without the clothes first? They're just drawing like the basic like human body, and then later on they add the clothes on top, or are they animating like all at once?
That's a really good question. I've never actually looked at some of their pencil tests.
Mhm.
Usually, usually I like to block in the shapes first, but I'm not quite sure what the studio does. I think the studio uh, Mirage, I forgot. I forgot, but they also animated the Boondocks.
Oh, nice. Oh yeah, the Korean studio, right?
Yeah, it's a
We also,
Korean
we also
studio.
animated Voltron right?
Oh yeah, the animated Voltron suit.
Ultra.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're a really cool suit though.
Yeah, a student says your shoulder movement is really impressive. With the your walk cycle, they said the shoulder movement is really impressive.
Oh, thank you. Oh yeah, so that actually reminds me. So when you're doing a walk cycle, some people may like to, or not like to, but some people may think that the shoulders just kind of stay still, or the hips kind of stay still. In a walk cycle, things shift around. Like your hips actually rotate a lot. It's very subtle, but it rotates. And so like whenever let's see, whenever you have like a foot going this way or a leg going this way, the hips kind of rotate in this direction, and then vice versa. And so a walk cycle, a walk cycle, a walk cycle isn't just strictly like, especially with a side profile walk cycle, they're not like stuck looking to the front, or they're not like their body movement isn't stuck. They kind of like rotate, like the shoulders rotate one way, and then the hips rotate one way as you're walking. That's why I recommend you really take like reference videos to really figure out like how a person walks. Oops, this is wrong. Oh, and also feel free when you make mistakes, just cut things out. It's fine. It's always okay. So there's like the thing with like old instructors where they want things to be done like in a the old-fashioned way. It's fine. Like
Okay, it's okay. So you're just testing it right now?
I'm just flipping through,
Yeah.
just to see if the arm is right. I have to draw the arm on this side. Anyway, I did it. This is behind. This is in front. Yeah, I don't know. Animation is not such a it's not such a luxurious life. You're just drawing frames over.
No, like it's I think that's with like any art that you create, like in the process is not like as glorious as it like not like it's a process, but like the final result, like it looks amazing.
Yeah, like when you're doing it, it's like, oh my god, I hate this. Like taking so long. But when you play it, like you get that like boost of serotonin to keep going. I feel like this might look really ugly when I play it.
Student asks, what have you been taught about finding a career in animation?
What have I been taught? Wait, what? Sorry, what does that question mean?
Maybe like maybe like things that you like maybe learned in school that like helped you, apply in like the work field or something like that. Like anything like that school has prepared you for.
So
Besides like the fundamentals and learning the technical skills, is there anything besides that you think schools prepared you for?
Great question. I think school has prepared me for the workload first off.
Yeah.
I know, like that's like what every art center student says, like, oh, like I learned so much about managing my time or whatever. That's whatever. Yeah. But I think the most important thing I've learned is when you're for animators, sometimes people get lost in trying to be an artist for Steven Universe or like some sort of brand or IP. Or like I want to be a Disney artist, whatever. I think one thing I've learned is that don't take it so seriously. Um, as an animator, there are so many different possibilities that you can like. There's so many different career choices you can make. Like as a 2D animator, you can like work on ads, you can work on music videos, like so many different things. You don't have to pigeonhole yourself into like, oh, I just want to do Disney because I want to work at Disney, like just broaden your horizons. Because when I came in, I was like, oh, I really want to work for Disney. Like, I really want to be a CG animator for Disney. But things have changed, and um, it's making me realize I have so many like other things I can do other than just animating for a major company, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for answering the question. Oh, so there's a student. They went to one of Art Center's virtual info sessions as a prospective student.
Uh-huh.
Recognized you.
Oh, I do. That's so weird. I do a lot of the tour sessions and like virtual whatever.
And then,
Super weird.
yeah, they asked, they were wondering what made you want to animate and study animation at Art Center.
That's a really because the thing is, I actually didn't come in wanting to animate. I applied for concept design actually.
Oh, the concept track?
Yeah, I applied for the
Oh,
concept track.
oh, really? I
Super
didn't know
weird.
that. Oh,
I didn't get in, and so they offered me to do animation, just because it's within the same realm. They don't do it anymore. Um, and I was just like, sure, why not? And I got into animation on accident. So I know it's like the worst thing to possibly say to somebody, but my whole like intro to animation was just a complete and total accident.
but I mean, in a way, that's kind of good that it happened because you found something that you love through, you know, that track.
Yeah, I really enjoy like being an animator. So everything is okay. I actually don't really like concept design. Not to like
Thanks.
weird. I did this wrong. Totally my fault. But if any of you guys are interested in animation, I highly recommend getting what is his name again? It's on this page. Richard Williams. Richard Williams animation survival kit.
Was was he an animator for Disney or?
Yeah, he was a previous animator for Disney, and I feel like his book is the best one that I've had so far. They include this stuff, like the walk cycles and stuff. It's very Disney oriented, so it kind of like gets into the whole Disney style, but the principles of animation are there, you know.
How long does student asked, how long does an animation take on average? Maybe
Oh,
like a feature film, like maybe either a feature film or a TV episode,
mm-hmm.
like a music video. Like maybe you could give us some timelines for that, how long it takes. Because I know there's not just one person. Well, usually it's not just one person animating everything for that. It takes like a whole village,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, it's basically like a gigantic village.
Because
That's
like you have like storyboarding and then
mm-hmm.
um, like background design, layout,
Yeah,
things like that.
it's a whole process, especially for feature animation. Or in feature animation, the timeline is a lot lengthier, but it's still a rush. I don't have like exact numbers, but you can imagine like, I'm not like 100% sure either. Like, I mean, I've worked on stuff, but I never like really think about how long I've been working.
Yeah,
But I've been working on like a shot for like 2 months, and it's been like,
one shot, like
yeah,
one.
just one shot. I'm just trying to finish one shot of animation. It's like 16 seconds. I've been working on it for like 2-ish months. It's been like there's like 3 characters,
Oh, sure.
and it's just like there's so much talking and like
Yeah.
dialogue, and it's super crazy. And if you think about it, just one person spending like 1 or 2 months on like one piece of animation, um, you can imagine like let's see, like I'm thinking like a feature film, like an hour and 30 minutes of animation. That's a lot. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
There's like a gigantic team of people working on it. TV usually is different just because it's more fast paced, and you know that they're more economical about things. But usually that kind of stuff like TV animation, it's usually sent overseas. So if you like watch Steven Universe, it's animated in Korea, and
Really? Oh,
yeah, it's mostly animated in Korea. Um, the difference with like TV and TV animation and feature animation is that TV is supposed to be a lot faster, a lot more economical. So when they do storyboards, it's a lot different from feature because they want it tighter. They want like tighter drawings in storyboard so that when they send it overseas, it's like not a gigantic, or they don't have to think about the animation. Um, they just animate it. Yeah. I see that I'm nearing the end of my time, so I'm just gonna play this and see what happens. It might look super ugly, so don't. This is just my first.
no, it's not gonna be ugly. Don't worry.
Oh wow, this is awful. I'm sorry, guys.
That looks
The
pretty
hand
good.
is like flicking.
Wow, that looks pretty good.
uh, just give me like 3 more days. It'll look way better.
So how long? So like, if you had so you would say that like to do like a full walk cycle, like cleaned up and stuff, like how you would say it'll take 3 days complete or one day?
I would do it I would just get the rough animation done in 3 days. But usually for like school projects, like if we were to get it like fully colored and everything, that might take like 2 weeks or 3 weeks. But that's like balancing other things too. But I think I might finish this and just post it on my Instagram. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know yet.
All right. Well, does anybody else have any last questions? Anybody else we can ask Joey about? What's your Instagram? What's your
What's my app?
what's your app?
It's my name, Joey, and then it's my middle name, Quoc.
That's it?
It's just together.
Okay. Oh, whoops.
Yeah, I do a lot of animation. I like to do CG animation as well as 2D, but recently 2D has been calling my name, like, so, um, I'm
You want to, before we end this, you want to show us your Instagram page?
sure, yeah,
Yeah, I know you have a lot of awesome work on it too.
thank you. Let's see. Yes, so this is my Instagram. I do really like spring rolls, just saying. But anyways, this is most of my work. I have like experimental stuff, I have like just drawings and stuff. But I because animation takes a lot of time. I don't post as much animation as I want to.
Mhm.
Um, this one was fun. I did this in like 2 days on a deadline.
Yeah,
It's super simple.
that's so cool.
Thank you.
That's so cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
I like
yeah,
the
part of
hair thing.
the effects, yeah, I know you were saying you really like doing that.
Yeah, but this is my
Is there, so like to people who want to like learn more about animating effects and stuff, are there any like reference or any
hmm,
things that you can look at to like, self teach yourself to do that?
yeah. So hold on, sorry. I was looking at a spring roll recipe. Um, so there's Tonika Pentoha. I think that's his name. Yeah, this guy. He has like a whole like animation. There's like he has a lot of animation guides here, but he also has like a if you have the money to. Um, I think he has a Gumroad where you can purchase um, like a full on like animation tutorial, and he graduated from CalArts, so
Oh, nice.
he's super cool. Yeah, so this here is kind of I think it's kind of expensive, but it's the complete intro to 2D animation full package, and he uses TDP, same as me. So, and he has like all these different like animation guides and stuff. I highly recommend uh, if you want to, or I highly recommend learning animation from him. And that's it for 2D animation.
Got it. Well, anybody else have any other questions? If not, we're going to end it here. Well, thank you so much, Joy, for the talk and the very helpful demo. It was really enlightening to see your process. And well, especially me, I learned a lot on like how to do the log cycle. I've never seen anything like that, so it was really helpful, especially for me. And I'm sure the students really appreciate it. So yeah, thank you so much.